What's going on, y'all? Man, your boy's still over here in PA, over here in Clearfield. But I thought it might be a good idea to go ahead and drop a video about a comment I made about the truck. I told y'all I got the truck and I test drove her and everything was good with the exception of playing the steering. So when I got the truck, I only took her out where the sales guy, he was pointing me, drive this way, we can take this road all the way down, we get to the end, we can make a circle back around and come back. We didn't go like down the street, hit the freeway, come back, get off the freeway and come back to the dealership. So I was like, man, she drive pretty smooth. And I opened her up, I got her I didn't even get her through all the gears. I might have got her to, I probably got her about 12 gear. And I was doing pretty good with her and stuff. And I didn't experience that little steering thing, I just didn't experience that until I took her out on the road and I opened her up. But he was like, yeah, if you find something wrong, if something ain't right, call me back, let me know, we'll get back into the dealership, we'll get it fixed. I said, okay, cool. So I went ahead and drove her 64 miles because I was heading down to where I'm going to do my orientation at. I was like, let me go stretch out. But when I was driving, I was like, man, this thing kind of, it's play kind of crazy, And if you guys drove in PA, near Clearfield, Butler, Bellefonte, you'll know it's hilly. It's a lot of hills. So I was like, this ain't right. So went ahead, called him up the next day, and I said, hey man, this is steering, man. This thing need to be looked at. I say something ain't right, something ain't right. So he was like, okay. He said, where you at? So I told him. He said, man, you're a little bit ways away from the dealership. He said, but we got like, he said, Butler got like 12, 13 dealerships throughout PA and up to New York. So I was like, okay. So he was like, Clearfield is your closest one. He said, you can go take it to the Clearfield dealership. And I was like, okay. So I went there. I got there Tuesday afternoon. They looked at the truck. They made some comments on some things that need to get done. Then they said we need to call the Butler dealership to get authorization to get it done. And we got to order the part. It'll be here first thing in the morning. I was like, okay, cool. So Clearfield said, yeah, you got authorization, man. Bring back in. Tomorrow we'll take care of it. I said, okay, cool. Check this out. Look at what they did. Yeah, this the other side. Tearing it apart. Got doggone. Yeah, this is the other side right here, put back together. All new parts, man, all new components. They tore everything apart, man. So they put everything back together, and that corrected the plate in the steering. That corrected, it was fine. Everything was back true. It was good. So the guy who took it back out that evening before he gave it to me, because I was there all day, he was like, say something ain't right. He says, whenever I turn, I still get that thump. He said, when I turn right, I get it thump. He said I get that thump. He said, what that is, he said, those are your rear leaf spring mounts. He says, and the housing that holds the seal in place, he said they're worn. He said, so I'll show you guys a picture of it. Check this out. You guys see right here, he's already done with this side. All that had to be replaced right there. New bolts, the whole unit right there. You see the white at had to be taken down and replaced with a new one. A lot of work, man. Everything put back together though. He said, you see the piece that's hanging? He said, you see where your leaf springs connect to it? He said, that shouldn't move. He said that should be pretty stiff. He said it shouldn't move. He said yours is moving. It's moving back and forth, and it's moving left and right, thus giving you that thump sound that you hear. He says this is a pretty big job. He says we're gonna have to get authorization to get that part corrected, and then he says what's gonna happen is, he said once we get it corrected, then you won't feel or hear that thump anymore. I was like, okay. So we're gonna take off that whole mount that's mounted to your frame, and the piece that hangs down and holds the leaf spring in place. He said we got to repack that, put another seal in it, but you got to come back the next day. Man, I went back again the next morning. I was there again. I was there from like 10 that morning to like 11:50 that night until they got finished, because they stay open until midnight. So they worked on it, gave me the truck last night. I got out of there and everything's good. When you go through stuff like purchasing a truck out of state, man, you gotta, you can't be in a rush, man. You gotta take your time. And not only that, when I say, man, it's a blessing, I mean, it's a blessing. So last night, I asked the service guy. He was like, man, I'm not sure if I can release that information. He said, we don't want to release information of the previous owner and all this stuff, the company you work for and stuff like that. I said, I already got the information. I pulled it up myself. I pulled it up on a site called RigDig. This big shouts out to MakeCents. He gave that little shout out in one of his videos, and he was 100% right. You go to RigDig.com, you pay the little fee to pull up the history. It's almost like a Carfax or Truckfax, and it gives you a whole bunch of all the information on the truck you're about to buy. All you need is the real VIN number, and you pay. I think I paid $35 for it, and I was able to tell the sales guy or the service guy who owned the truck prior to me purchasing it, and he was like, "Oh, shucks, you already know." So man, he started digging in it. Man, he told me, yep, engine was rebuilt, man, 493,520 miles. He was like, a new 2050 torque, heavy duty clutch was installed at this many miles. He told me the DPF system was replaced and redone. He told me the water separator was redone. Man, he gave me, I got it on my phone, but he gave me everything, the big dollar ticket item. He told me the price of the rebuild kit. He said, yep, they purchased the rebuild kit. The rebuild kit cost this. I said, oh yeah, they rebuilt the engine. They did a complete rebuild in frame. So I'm just like, that's why it sounds so good. That's why it runs so good. That's why it's not leaking. That's why, I mean, he told me everything. He was like, the turbo actuator was replaced. He was like, what else he told me? Man, he told me a lot of stuff. I mean, he gave me so much stuff that was done to the truck. I was like, oh yeah, I'm set. I was like, I'm good. I'm set. I'm good. I'm good. She good. I was like, maybe the first owner just took care of the truck. So I'm happy, man. I was like, when I say that's a blessing in disguise, that's a blessing. And I ain't gonna lie, man, I'm happy, man. She run good. And when I found out all the information, because I already was like, shoot, man, I gotta start prepping, man. Maybe in the next year, I'm gonna probably be doing a whole in-frame, man, on this engine. I want to make sure my investment is good. And so I'm just like, after he told me that, I was good. But hey, I don't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to give you guys an update on what was going on, how the truck is doing, what happened after I told y'all about that, the play in the steering. I just want y'all to know that it got corrected. The sales guy told me, if you got any problems, let us know. We'll get them fixed. And guess what? You got everything fixed. No money out of my pocket. I mean, the maintenance and the time it took for the average person who would have had to pay for that kind of work to get done. Jeez, man. Look, the labor behind what they was doing. God, dog, y'all see the pictures, man, and the little videos I took? That was some labor right there. But anyway, man, I ain't gonna keep this video going. More videos to come. Tomorrow I'll be heading down to check into the hotel for orientation. Orientation starts Monday, and then hopefully Wednesday I'll be heading out of here, man. It's time to head back west. It's time to head back home, man. For each one, teach one. If God be for you, who can be against you? Nobody. All right, y'all take care.